predicting that there's going to be a civil war. So I mean, if I'm wrong, then I'll probably change.
I think if we fail in Iran and like this war drags on, I think civil war is a possibility for sure.
Here's a secret about every sky is falling prediction that's ever been made. The sky has never fallen. So
I mean, civil war has.
I think a
happened
civil
before,
war would.
bro.
Yeah, and there
It
was
has
a black
happened
plague.
before.
I'm not saying that the fall of the sky is
Yeah.
falling. I mean, we can go through a civil war and life just be just fine. You just pay more for gas or food or something.
China will probably pump money into one side. Russia will pump money into another. Europe will probably pump money into another. That's how civil wars are now.
the problem is there's no sides. America isn't divided like that. America isn't. This is the problem. You believe America is divided at the point of civil war. Why? Because you listen to retards like Philip DeFranco who tell you stupid shit. That's why you think stupid shit.
I don't listen to the guy.
Listen to any of
He
that.
does. Franco does use he uses receipts, bro. Like he doesn't just say shit.
The idea of like it's going to be like red state versus blue state that might eventually unfold that way, but civil war, like the way I see it, is basically more like how we saw the riots in like 2021 or like the COVID riot, where it's the people versus the state. It's going to be
Or
state
Charlottesville.
trooper.
Now,
Yeah,
in order
the
to
national-
make the thing you predicted not
Governors
a
are
lie,
ready to rise up.
now you have to change the definition of civil war because now what you just described isn't a civil war.
Dude,
No,
how
I'm
could a
saying, like,
red
the
state
Civil War would
versus
be more
blue
like
state
tenfold.
thing- Hold on a second. How could a red state versus blue state thing occur when you look at states like California or where I'm at,
Where there's
Colorado?
large segments here that are.
Hold on a second, Tony. Let me finish my
Really,
thought. That the state is mostly red county wise, and the fucking little strip of fucking blue down the middle, or a California along the coastline. How's that going to work out in a civil war situation? What do you think?
Good
Most of
question,
the
bro.
population of these states are
You guys
Democrats,
are
even
fucked.
though
You guys
they're
are
all
fucked. You guys are in
concentrated.
you guys are in a fucking goddamn pig pen, kill pen in the middle. You guys are so fucked. You guys are surrounded. You realize that, right?
No, but what you're talking about is brother against brother, man.
I mean, that's how civil wars are.
Campies,
That's
dude.
how it is.
Listen,
That's it.
you and I are on different sides of the political aisle, which is fine. That's okay. We can disagree and be respectful about it. But let's just put it this way: in a civil war situation, we don't give a fuck about each other, right?
That sounds so horrible.
There's
But
so
it's
many
true.
more. There's more
But, like,
Democrats than there are
that-
Republicans by a significant. Here, I'll show you the numbers right here.
It's so bizarre to think about.
You're talking
like,
about
that
your
kind of
brothers.
situation. Like, if you were to say California coast has a civil war, I could see that being a thing, like regionally. But across the nation, like I have to remind myself, LA to Nashville is the same distance from Paris to Kiev. Like,
Wait,
you know what I mean? And people that are going through the Ukraine war are not affecting the people in Paris.
Wally, why would you want to even think about it this way? Like, you're talking about your cousins and your brothers.
Listen, dude, I hope it never fucking happens. No, because those
Campies,
people
it's
that
a
have any
fucking
goddamn
civil war,
sense.
dude.
Shut up for a second, Tony. Fuck. Those people that have any goddamn sense are getting the fuck out of those cities. If they can. Right? I mean, let me ask you this. Let's say civil war actually pops off. You staying where you're at?
Yeah, I'm not moving. I mean, I'm like right in the middle of the city.
Fuck that.
I try to hide.
I would like to think that we wouldn't be like convinced by our politicians to fucking
The
fight
cities
one
are getting
another.
killed, bro. The
Oh,
cities,
yeah.
especially the capitals of each state, each capital, every state, it's not safe.
What about
Minneapolis,
How would you-
Maryland.
what about?
I mean, you guys are just
decency?
it's too video game-ish the way you guys are coming at this. Like, I mean, realistically, if a civil war broke out, it's going to be like the state versus the people. You know, like who
Right,
controls
that's what
the
I was
government,
saying.
who
It's going to
controls
be the
national
fucking
government.
politicians convincing us to fight against one another.
Who here believes that if a quote civil war broke out in the United States, that under the current political dynamics, the current dichotomy of the left and the right, who here believes that any significant percentage of the U.S. military is going to be fighting for the political left?
So you're
US
again,
military,
you're
I
again
think it would
falling
be
for the same
significant,
bullshit
yeah,
that I was just talking
40%.
about.
The current political climate, you have something like the United States military service members deciding which side of the aisle they're going to lean on. I got news for you. It's going to be on the side that murders a bunch of fucking leftards.
Okay, you're
No,
right. They will be able
32
to convince us to fight each other like fucking dipshits.
32 to 35.
Do you know anyone in the military, man?
All right, Tony, I was talking before you. 32 to 35% of military personnel are registered Democrats, and I would hedge to say maybe a third of them would fight for the political left in some type of
20% of the
civil war.
military is black, and let's look at the percentage of black people that are Democrats. The likelihood
they're
of
gonna
all
all
that-
fucking-
I know
that's a
all
terrible-
of them are not going to be
that's a
Republican.
terrible way of analyzing
This is the
statistics.
dumbest shit
Yeah.
I've ever heard.
Yeah, it is dumb because that's not how it happens in real life.
This is what's gonna happen. The left is gonna fucking eat itself, and y'all are gonna start arguing with each other like you're doing right now. You motherfuckers don't agree on shit. You guys are all retarded.
Yeah,
Wait,
yeah,
are you
yeah.
just saying?
There
Are
is
you just
no
making fun of us for not being a hive mind? Okay, that's a cool.
No,
No,
he's right, though. There
I'm
is no
saying that all you
consensus.
motherfuckers don't agree on shit, and all you do is argue amongst yourself. You guys don't agree on nothing. Listen, when I
Well,
tried to
but
tell you guys to
That's
all
just because
shut
you
up,
guys.
it
That's
was
just because you guys are a
Trick,
cult.
it was Campies, and it was Tony, all yelling at each other. It's like that's what's gonna happen. You motherfuckers think you're gonna unite and fucking somehow have
No.
a fight to put up against the right? You guys are fucking fucked.
Bro,
You're
your
fucked.
parents
I
are
don't-
siblings.
Well, yeah, but if Republicans started going out and killing anyone who's a registered Democrat, I don't care what our disagreements are. There's a much bigger issue. So I definitely think that if Republicans just started executing Democrats, that would be the unifying thing.
The military is made up about 17% black. Now, of that 17%, at least 10% of those are conservative. But the real numbers that matter are, what do the people lean that fly the jets? What do the people lean that are U.S. Army Rangers? What do the people lean that are U.S. Navy SEALs? I got news for you. They are overwhelmingly going to be Republican or conservative. It does matter because those people are going to be absolutely murking you motherfuckers. Like the idea that, a bunch of fucking cooks in the fucking military goddamn agree with me. Who gives a shit? When it comes to people that are doing the fucking murdering, they're not going to agree with you. And depending on what the angle of this supposed conflict is, they may not agree with me either, right? But the point is that you on the left are the ones constantly talking about some kind of war. You on the left are constantly talking about what Big Fat Tony said is, if we continue with gerrymandering, it's going to cause them, meaning the left, to start doing violent shit. Okay, you're going to be seen as being in the wrong, and you're going to be put down like fucking dogs.
No, I mean,
And that's all that would happen.
It's going to cause governors to stop, just straight up stop paying federal taxes. If they're not benefiting from the federal taxes, they're not going to continue paying these federal
Tony,
taxes.
do you have a fucking plate carrier? How many AR-15s do you guys own? How many pistols do you have? Just wondering.
Yeah, I mean,
Quiet.
look, I don't know why anyone would act like.
Like, you gotta think, bro. Like, when a civil
None of
war,
y'all
you-
motherfuckers
you-
are-
no,
Tony,
but
Tony,
think
you-
about
you
this.
gotta-
for a
you
second.
gotta
Who
think for a
has
second,
most of
Tony.
the money in
Tony,
this
you're not
country?
thinking. Tony,
No,
look,
who
you're not
has
thinking.
most of the money in this country? Who has most of the money?
Money doesn't matter in war,
Money
dude. What are you going to do?
absolutely
Are you going
matters,
to take your
Chris.
dollar bills and
Money
line them up
fucking matters,
as a
dude.
plate so that they can't shoot you? You
People
fucking
will arm
inbred retard.
themselves quickly in an environment where civil war is imminent. The fucking gun industry is going to go wild.
Look,
nationwide, selling off all these
the
fucking
entire
guns.
idea, of us of having another civil war is just kind of ridiculous. But let's just assume it for a
I
second.
don't think
Tony,
it's ridiculous.
we lose if they band together. Like, let's say the percentage of Republicans that participate in another civil war and the percentage of Democrats that participate is roughly equal. We just get eviscerated, dude. And I don't know why you're acting like we don't.
The average age of
Especially
the
for
average
Republicans in office,
Republican-
dude.
the
We get
average
eviscerated.
age of the
This
of the
motherfucker
average
is
Republican
screaming
is
right
over
now.
50 years old. You wanna
Dog,
know?
you sound like a fucking retard right now. Listen to what Trick's telling you. He's right. And I
Do
don't
you
say
mind-
that a lot.
I would like to
correct.
respond to
Hey,
Infamous.
you know what? Bro, I could have my plate carrier on and have a fucking gun in my hand.
Wally,
in about-
your
in
IQ is
about
like 80,
1
bro.
minute. In about 1
Well,
minute, I
Tony-
could have that done.
Johnny, the only way that we win is if there are more Republicans that
We would win
think
because
a
of the
civil war.
fucking fact that
I'm
we
sorry. I guess
make
the middle of my sentence
we
interrupted the
carry
beginning
the
of yours. You go right
country's
ahead. Go ahead.
economy.
Go ahead,
They
Tony.
don't.
Come on,
There
let
would
him
be
let Trick speak.
poor-ass
Let him tell us shit.
fucking
Let him tell us
red
shit, though.
states that would be third world nations without blue states
Tony,
to carry them, and blue
you got to
cities
talk
to
one at
carry
a
them.
time. God damn it!
We went through this before already.
Tony, tell me how many dollar bills stops a bullet from entering your brain?
We went through a civil war already.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
guess who won?
muskets. God damn it!
The North did.
Conservatives
dude.
were on the southern side. Definitively, this is true. The southern side was
the
conservative.
difference is that the North had more people. The president on
No,
their
they had the
side,
moral
and
majority,
more
bro. They had the morality. That's why they won.
No. They won because they had the money, the people, and the president backing them.
And the moral.
Right now, Republicans have not the money, but they have the majority, and they have the president backing them.
They don't have the population majority. The blue states have a significant,
Huge.
like it's an enormous difference between blue and red states.
But Tony,
we got 100 round
It's like
drones,
30% versus 70.
Yeah, hold on, look, Tony. If
God.
the president of the United States goes, let's say the Democrats and Republicans declare civil war. You're right. If the Democrat states were given enough time, they could use the money to manufacture weapons and band together enough Democrats to stand a chance. But Republicans, because they have the president in office, if we went into a civil war, wouldn't let that happen. It would literally be a 1 week civil war because Trump is so. Stop talking when I'm talking.
Yeah, that seems crazy.
I'm gonna do that more often.
Learn to shut the fuck up, dude.
He can't. It's impossible for him.
Wally, no
Tony,
offense,
you are
your
not
IQ is
listening.
like
You're
70, bro.
sitting there.
So only thing I wanted to like address after I got muted was the only thing I disagree with Infinite's assessment of like the military and like the statistics within it is that it's a very individualistic kind of perspective. Whereas historically in civil wars, units usually like people usually stick with their unit and commanders. And so I guess the only statistics would matter would be what the high command, I would say like colonel and above, like people who can basically like, yield.
Fortunately, in today's world, unlike in 1861, we have countless interviews and podcasts and books that have been written with tier 1 and tier 2 special operators, the commanders of previous engagements, the commanders of NATO. We can look at the information. And what the information overwhelmingly tells us is not only are these people more conservative than not, but they are absolutely disgusted by the current state of the left and the political parties associated with the left. Not only that they lean more conservative, it's that they're absolutely disgusted by the liberal agenda that's currently taking place.
You sound like a fucking retard.
I think a lot of things are going to happen in order to get to us to the point of civil war. I think we're super far off. I mean, I'm thinking like it would have to be like national draft and third term Trump to like have like
under the assumption that what happens. I don't think anyone's talking about the likelihood of a civil war happening, even though
I'm not talking about it. I'm saying that I think it's very unlikely that a civil war would ever happen. And I'm also saying that if it does, I don't think it will be conservatives or Republicans or whatever. By the way, I don't think it'll be Democrats either. I think it's probably disingenuous to refer to these people as Republicans or Democrats, because what we've seen, at least with the Confederacy, was that these were people who were apart from the Union. They were not part of the Union. So even to refer to them as like some constituency of the United States definitionally just isn't going to be true. I see it far more likely that some radical faction pops up around, groups like Antifa or something like that.
Or Nazis.
Far before, or Nazis, far before someone calling themselves a Democrat or Republican decides to start a civil war.